to chime in whenever you guys have any questions or anything you guys want to throw in there.
Yeah, so that's great. I know we have Tommy and Ron. Who else do we have on the phone?
I do see Dan Amato.
Yeah, I'm here.
I thought
Good morning.
so, yeah. So good morning. All right,
well,
perfect.
Yeah, okay. So we'll get started, and we appreciate you guys taking the time on the Friday morning before the holiday. I'm sure there's a lot of stuff you're not that you're not normally busy, but I'm sure there's a few things you're trying to get buttoned up as well. So we're having a little bit of a technical glitch, so you might hear me say next, and that's just me asking Maria to advance the slides. So, perfect example. So
there you go.
This stuff should all be very familiar, right? The benefits of selling custom care, right? It's an increase in your revenue, giving you a higher average customer value. It increases retention rate, and that's not just a lawn care thing in any industry. I mean, you could go look at banking or anything else. Anytime a customer is buying more than one product or service from you, they are more likely to be loyal, less likely to shop for another provider. And then we've talked about this before also, services have these custom care services have a much higher profit margin. Every dollar is certainly not created equally. Your profit margin out of maintainer and your profit margin out of I'll use tree and shrub for instead of mosquito. I know how we feel about that in Texas for the first year, but the profit margins are substantially different. So, Maria, you want to jump on to the next slide?
Sure thing.
So, the thing about custom care is there are, and I don't know, would have been about a dozen or so listed on this page, but there are a vast variety of custom care programs. We don't ask and wouldn't even want everybody to try to push everything. That's sort of overkill. It's throwing too much at your customer. It's throwing too much at you. What I would ask is, find the 2 or 3 that are the best fit for you, the most comfortable, seem to be the most popular in your area. People seem to be familiar with it. Roll with those. You're not going to go in there and throw, hey, I do these other 12 things, and overwhelm the customer. But, if you're in Texas, fire ant is a very obvious one. Core aeration, no matter what market you're in. Tree and shrub, same thing. Soil enrichment. There's a ton of them. And there's none of them on here that are, that's really hard to do and there's not a lot of profit. These are all relatively easy, and we have, between us and certainly Chris Sherrington, any support if there's any questions or any comfort level issues around any of these services. And guys, this is where the money is at. Find your groove and roll with those few custom cares. If you have a customer, an average customer value is about $500. You add a custom care or two, and all of a sudden that customer is worth over $1,000. It's a game changer. So with that, I guess we can jump on to the next slide.
All right. All right, so this is the cool season market here. Do you want me to go to the next one?
Oh, okay. So, no, did you want to stick on cool season for a minute? I just want to, what we're chatting about really applies to both of these. Obviously, in cool season, you've got the added, benefit of power seating. All of these custom cares are good. The one thing I'll say about power seating, and for folks in the north, you're very well aware of this, is there's no competition because no one else can do that. We have patented equipment, and other people can broadcast seed, they can slit seed, but no one else can power seed, literally plant each and every seed. So, it's just a matter of customers understanding. It's not a cheap service if customers understand the value of it or not, but they can't price shop. They can't go to the next guy and see what he's going to offer, going to be willing to do it for. That's not an option. So kind of a monopoly in that space. We like it. Okay. We can jump on to the next one.
All right.
So, and again, this is not anything new to anybody. You guys are all, in the early stages of, what will hopefully be a long-term, very successful business, and we have thrown a lot at you. So this is more of a refresher, a reminder. of how to proceed with some of this stuff. So obviously, when you're visiting customers, I'll just throw one thing out that I know some franchisees have done. You're visiting a customer for the first time. They bought lawn care. You want to make sure the relationship is solid. You don't want to start, suggesting 5 other services and things. These are great opportunities to have an oh-by-the-way conversation. So got lawn care set up. You're good to go. And then as you're leaving, oh, by the way, I noticed you have a beautiful, pool and a deck, and you have a lot of trees, around for privacy. Do you run into any issues with mosquito problems? And, it's sort of a way to work into those conversations without, a hard sell or hitting somebody over the head with it. Condition codes and, obviously a few little tweaks happening there, but those have really been, they've generated a significant amount of revenue. Owner checkups. And even as you grow, if you're a customer and once a year the owner, of the company is going to come out and do a checkup on your lawn, that kind of feels special. It feels good as a customer. And that might be an opportunity to talk about one of the different custom cares we offer that makes sense for them. Certainly if you have a technician, any recommendations they can make. Emails, referrals, the pest strips, Facebook campaigns, anything like that. But there's, probably 10 more ways to do this as well. But however feels most comfortable to you, you just want to make sure that, if nothing else, the customer knows that you offer some of these other services, because nothing feels worse than pulling up in front of a customer's house and, there's a sign in the lawn for, someone else who did mosquito or someone else who did, an aeration or something. That is not a good feeling, and definitely don't want anyone to experience that. So we can jump from there to the next slide.
Sure. Before we jump over, just to touch on the Facebook, one thing that I do say to you guys is make sure when you're on your Facebook, you're using this as a resource for your customers. So this would be a good opportunity to post information about those different, upsells that you can do, so you can give them the information and give them educated information so they can make that decision as well. So just something to think about when it comes to Facebook.
Great point.
All right, next slide.
So this is actually the same one that we had shared earlier in the week, and Tommy, you had some good input. Where if you've seen the responses, we're most of the way through solving it. It's we certainly, these are your customers now that we're looking at here. We obviously, nobody wants the call center calling them. That's not how things are designed. We know they're not doing that, despite the status it's moving into, but we'd like it to be very easy for you guys to be able to run a quick report and see who has received a sell condition code that didn't buy, so you can follow up. So I spoke to actually Dave Newman yesterday. He's going to be talking to Real Green next week, and going to look for a way to make that simple. But you can rest assured that even though it's going into that status 2, it's assigned to you guys, and nobody in the call center is running that report, pulling it, or following up with these folks at this point or at any point. So we can shift on to the next slide.
Boom.
Ample collateral. So there's definitely no shortage. We send you pest strips. There's pest strips available on Lawn Doctor forums through Real Green. You guys have brochures. At any point, if you say, hey, I really would love a one sheet or a flyer that specifically talks about this aspect of this custom care service or something, we'll build you something. We'll send you the file. You can print it out anywhere you want. So we're more than happy to customize something. We do that with the different events and things, and this is no different. If there's a piece that you want that you're just not seeing, but you feel it'll make a difference, just Gabriella would be the first point of contact there, but we'll get something done for you. Happy to do that.
This is Ron. I've got a quick question. As soon as this has core aeration listed there, it says autumn is core aeration time. Is there a time where it's too hot to do that?
Yeah, and I I thought about pulling that when I saw it as well, actually, because there has the general mentality over the years has been you aerate in the fall in the north, and you aerate in the spring in the south. And we're really, some of the materials we've had would say fall aerations or spring aerations, really trying to get more and more away from that and just aeration, because aerations can be done anytime the lawn is growing but not under heat stress. So, anytime in the spring, once it's growing, once you start getting into the consistent 90-degree days, you wouldn't aerate. And then when you hit the fall, again, you could aerate, until the grass goes dormant. So spring and fall, fair game. There really isn't.
So, like right now in Texas, would it be okay in Texas right now? We're getting mid-80 degrees.
Temperatures?
We're in the low to mid-80s now.
You're at the tail end of aerating season, I would say, mid-March through, maybe the end of May or so. You're still okay. I wouldn't go much further into June because you're going to start.
Yeah, we'll have 90-something day on June. So, is there a way to have the call center stop selling it for a certain point in time? Or to tell them it's going to be late in the fall if a customer calls now? Yeah, so that's a great point, Ron. So I do know that Laura's got a plan around that, but I will, when we're done, actually, I'll just give her a call because, frankly, we only have a few more weeks of that in the north as well. We don't want to be aerating, from the middle of June to, through August in the north either. Any customers that you're talking to that are interested or that, want an aeration, it's a great time to set them up, book it ahead of time for the fall. It's a great opportunity to educate a customer that might not know. Hey, look, I'd love to, aerate for you now. I appreciate you wanting to buy this from me, but it's not the right thing to do for you or your lawn. So let's schedule this for the fall after the heat of the summer has started to subside. Customers appreciate that. Okay.
Because how often does a provider say, no, don't pay me now? Wait, but that comes across as genuine because it is. But yeah, let me chat with Laura on that front just to make sure that that we sort of have the switch turned off. And for anybody, and I think we've most of the guys that are on the call, we've had these conversations, but for anybody that absolutely, for whatever reasons, correlations are awesome. They're pure profit, but for whatever reason, access to a machine or something, you can always work with David Schneider to turn that service on and off on your SA5. So if it's not an available service, the call center couldn't sell it if they wanted to. They can only sell what you have available. Anyone who, and sometimes in the spring when you're starting in the business, you don't immediately have access to an aerator, but we definitely recommend, for the fall, regardless, north, south, or otherwise, if you can access an aerator and line them up, if you're renting one, get some Advil. It is a lot of work, no questions there if you're renting a piece of equipment. But try to line them all up for the same week or so and, knock them out. It's pure cash, and it may be very worthwhile to find a college student who's looking for $10 or $12 an hour and let them push it around. For those that are getting or have a more advanced piece of equipment, that you're looking at probably spending between $3,000 and $5,000. Once you have enough aeration customers to pay for the cost of the machine, you might want to think about go ahead and getting it, because it definitely, the newer equipment with the design and capabilities, it's an entirely different game. It's much, much easier to use it. You don't finish a lawn and feel like you're going to pass out. It's an entirely different game. So yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Speak from experience. So yeah. All right. Sorry, we went on for a bit there. My apologies. Anybody have any other questions on any of this?
Yeah, I do. One thing back on correlation, not to beat that dead horse too much, but so Jay, you're saying for the South Zone, we should not be pushing these core aerations, because I thought that probably to the middle of June we would be fine. Am I misunderstanding?
It's really a temperature thing.
Yeah.
So the whole idea is to avoid aerating when the grass is under a heat stress. So If you're having consistent 90-degree days and you're having dry weather, that grass is starting to experience that summer stress, that's when you want to not do it. If you're still comfortably in the 80s and you've had, some rain, you've got some, moisture on that lawn, it's okay to continue it. There's no, it's not really the calendar as much as it is the weather that dictates.
Yeah. 10-4. Thanks, man.
Absolutely. Good questions from you guys. Any other questions? Any other thoughts, suggestions? Always happy to have one franchisee suggest something to others that's, you're out there living it, so you might see some things and have some good ideas that, that could benefit everybody.
Hey, Jay, it's Sam. I get a lot of questions about dethatching up here.
Yes.
And I've even rented a dethatcher and used it before power seeding, and it worked really, really well. I just kind of build that price into my seeding price. But is there any plans to, and I know we could always offer whatever we want, and,
right.
Lawn Doctor will get its royalties, but is there any plans to offer dethatching as a bona fide service through Lawn Doctor?
At this point, no, and the reasoning behind that, and that's a great question, the reasoning behind that is that, one, we're promoting the aeration, but the reason at this point, and it could always change, look, I'd love us to make aerators too and make that part of the package, so, I don't expect to see that anytime soon, but, I think it'd be cool. But the main reason for not offering the dethatching is that would sort of compete with the soil enrichment program, because that's one of the benefits of that soil enrichment program. So, we don't want to sort of offer competing services. Again, always subject to change. Maria and I are not the agronomists. We just play them. And that's something that could happen. But at this point, I would not expect to see that anytime soon.
Okay.
Anybody have any other questions? Anybody else besides for Ron and Dan and Tommy that may have snuck in that we didn't hear? Well,
I don't know if anybody else snuck on, but of course, you guys, if you think of any other questions, you can always reach out to any one of us, myself, Jay, Sherrington, if it's more of an agronomy question. Like Jay said, we just pretend to be agronomists.
Yeah, we always defer. We know a few things because we've learned them, but yeah, we prefer to defer to the agronomist. Well, appreciate you guys taking the time. I know this isn't the most convenient slot in the day or week, especially this week. And appreciate you guys participating, jumping in there with some questions and things like that. So awesome. Everybody go. I know we've got a lot of work to still do, but try to find some time to have a little rest and relaxation and a little rest and relaxation. I can get the words out. At some point over the weekend, be safe and enjoy.
Yes, you guys have a good 3-day weekend, and have a safe one.
Thanks, you too.
Thanks, you too.
Take care, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Cool.